Good day and welcome to Reflections this week. This week we want to look at what goes around, comes around, or it will come back to you. So that's what I'm going to be talking about the whole of this week. Because most times if we are doing something wrong, we feel that we can get away with it. And then sometimes when we've done something good and things are not going the way we hoped they will go, we think that our good works were all in vain. But I want to assure us today that what comes around goes around, you know. So, and also that, whatever you do, it will come back to you. But also that even when we do things that are bad, that God is gracious. But today I want to look at an act of kindness. An act of kindness. And I know many of us at one time or the other in life have been kind to somebody. We've done something for someone that has truly, truly been kind. And I also know that most of us, if not all of us, have had our good works repaid, or our kindness repaid with unkindness or a lack of appreciation. And when that happens, we feel bad. We feel like, why, how would this person do this? How will they not be appreciative? And sometimes when we've really done, really truly been kind, sometimes we've done something good and something happens, we think that, God, how did God allow this to happen to me? I've been good. I've helped other people. I've lived a life of righteousness. And we go on, and we think that God has not been fair to us. It's, our little children, no matter what you say, that's not fair, that's not fair. And I feel like that's, for us, many times we are like that. Today, I want us to look at 2 Samuel 9 verse 1. 2 Samuel 9 verse 1. David said, "Is there still anyone left of the house of Saul that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Is there anyone? Now, for those of you who know your Bible, you know that David was Jonathan's friend. Jonathan was the son of King Saul, and David served in the house of King Saul as a musician, also as one of his warriors, one of his soldiers. So in essence, David was King Saul's servant, and King Saul's son, Jonathan, or the prince, because as the son of the king, Jonathan was a prince. So the prince and David became very, very good friends. In fact, we are told that David and Jonathan loved each other. Jonathan loved David so much that he said to David, he said, "I know that you will become king one day." And he was not resentful of that. He was not resentful of David being chosen by God over his father Saul or over him, because ordinarily he should have inherited the throne, but for one reason or the other, God said no. It was going to that Saul's son was not going to become king, but that David was the man after God's heart. And Saul died, Jonathan died. David did not immediately ascend the throne. Things happened. And finally, David became king over Israel and Judah. And as David settled down into his new position, he remembered his friend Jonathan, the love they had shared, their friendship. I'm sure he also remembered Jonathan's kindness to him, how Jonathan did not resent him for being chosen over Jonathan by God. And David said, "Is there still anyone left of the house of Saul that I may show him kindness. Not because of Saul, but he said, I want to show somebody in the house of Saul kindness for Jonathan's sake. You thought your good works had been forgotten? You thought your kindness has been disregarded? You feel as if God has not been fair to you? I want to encourage you today. Because the children of Saul and the children of Jonathan probably felt that we have lost the throne. We have lost the good things that could have come to us for being royalty, for being the king's descendants. It's possible that some of them might have already become bitter and angry, not knowing that sooner or later your kindness will come back to you. Jonathan's kindness to David came back to Jonathan's son. Because one day, David said, is there anyone left of the house of Saul that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? Your good works have not been forgotten. Your good works are not irrelevant. Your kindness will get a reward. Your obedience to God will bring you a blessing. God has not forgotten. God has not forsaken. God is not unrighteous. I know the situation and circumstances around you now speak to the contrary. But if you will just hang in there, I want to assure you that the good things, the good works, your obedience, your righteousness to God will bring you a blessing. If David, a human being, could say, I haven't forgotten the kindness of Jonathan to me. I want to be a blessing to his descendants. How much more God? How much more God? Don't turn your back on him. Don't stop serving him in righteousness and truth. Because, believe me, it will come back to you. God will open a book of remembrance, and a blessing will come your way. The same way a blessing came the way of Jonathan's son, because Jonathan had been kind to David. You don't want to miss tomorrow. You don't want to miss any day this week as I talk more on this issue of it will come back to you. And you may think, oh, all I've done is bad stuff. Don't miss tomorrow, because I will tell you how even when you have done some bad stuff, God can help you and turn your life around to be a blessing. Be encouraged. You are going to get a good reward. It's Fumi Obilano and its Reflections.